Prelude to Ecstasy sounds as if a bunch of sapphic women got together to wear Victorian-era dresses and perform Shakespeare. But actually, they're not doing Shakespeare at all. They're just standing around kissing each other. Which is basically Shakespeare, so it's fine. They're not in trouble. They didn't break any rule. This is the vibe that The Last Dinner Party is soundtracking. The Last Dinner Party is the latest and greatest gay little it band right now that I have been going absolutely gaga for.
But it's interesting, a lot of artists would immediately...
A band that crashed onto the scene with their iconic debut single, Nothing Matters, which is this opulent song that set the vibe for the kind of tunes that The Last Dinner Party was going to build themselves upon. These glammy, baroque, proggy jigs that the band injects so much dramatics into. And Prelude to Ecstasy is nothing but dramatic, with every song sounding like a movement in a playwright's magnum opus as the band delivers on all the epic sounds promised by Nothing Matters, giving us an album that is built upon baroque theatrics and a palpable sense of longing that Abigail Morris's vocals convey beautifully. That is excelled by the rest of the band's performances, as they add so much melodramatics underneath Morris's vocals, as she sings about queerness and femininity in a way that harkens back to the days of the glam era, but instead soundtracked by cool jock instruments like harps, strings, woodwinds, brass, instead of like whatever dork instruments David Bowie was using. The intro track provides such a strong first impression for the composition and instrumentation that we'll be seeing throughout this record, as it comes in on this swirling, twirling composition that transitions beautifully into Burn Me Alive. If the intro set up the gothic regal vibe of the record, then Burn Me Alive sets up the lyrical vibe of the album. I am not the girl I set out to be. Let me make my grief a commodity. Do what I can to survive. There is candle wax melting in my veins, so I keep myself standing in your flame. Burn me alive. Just this theme of self-destructing love that will have you sacrificing every single aspect of yourself in the name of, because you believe it is the only thing that is keeping you alive, so you cling onto it as long as you can, even though you know it's not meant to last. The line, "Let me make my grief a commodity," is integral not only to the overall song, but to the record as well. Suppressing and commodifying your emotions for the sake of others, in hopes that the other person will sacrifice even an ounce of themselves for you. But I believe that we can take this idea of commodifying one's emotions even further, and perchance femininity. And like, what's up with that? Like, what about that? I think it was just a girl who said, "I'm just a girl," until she was no longer a girl, and now she was a woman. And as a man, you find out about women from a man's perspective, and you're like, damn, sorry woman. And as a man, you are now the woman. You become woman as man. And now you finally understand the feminine urge. But actually, the feminine urge is a song from this album. WTF? That's so interesting. A room at dusk, mastering the art of lying still. Breathe like a girl, till my lungs fill. Pull up your boots, boys, and push me down. I'm only here for your entertainment. I'm a dark red liver stretched out on the rocks. All the poison I convert it and turn it to love. Here comes the feminine urge, I know it so well, to nurture the wounds that my mother held. Yes, this is perchance just a reference to the iconic phrase that hundreds of women around the globe use on a daily basis. But it also speaks deeper to how society, more specifically men, use and abuse femininity in a very selfish way. How masculinity uses it to further themselves, whilst refusing to nurture this ethereal force of nature that has uplifted them so. Like she's literally a big, fat, fucking liver on a damn rock, converting all of your poison into nurturing love. And all you can do is push her down and steal all the air from her lungs? The feminine urge is more than wanting to inject some kind of serum into your body that would turn you into a cow. It's the feminine urge of wanting so desperately to care for another, whilst that person abuses and belittles that feminine urge. They control and harness it at your expense. Like she's not herself anymore. That nasty, rotten man has turned her into nothing more than an extension of himself. What the hell? We're gonna talk about Chapel Roan now, and her iconic song, Good Luck Babe. And there's really nothing that a pathetic worm like you can do to stop me. I will use Chapel Roan to further my understanding of the last dinner party, because as an American, it is my right to do so. It is enshrined in the First Amendment. Good Luck Babe is Chapel Roan looking upon this girl with great sadness as she sacrifices herself for a man who will only abuse her femininity. When you wake up next to him in the middle of the night, with your head in your hands, you're nothing more than his wife. And when you think about me all those years ago, you're standing in the face of I told you so. Could it perhaps be this iconic feeling that the last dinner party is singing about, but just on the other end of? You have all of these songs on the record like Nothing Matters, Portrait of a Dead Girl, and On Your Side, which express this exact sentiment, but like opposite of Chapel Roan. These are all songs that touch upon unfulfilled relationships that one may have been pushed into due to the pressure placed upon queer people to ascribe to heteronormativity. I don't know if that's the case for this record or if I'm looking a little bit too much into things, but like that's what I'm reading here. Like I've already alluded to, Prelude to Ecstasy has a lot of queer subtext to it that in my eyes informs a lot of the thematic elements of this record. The exploitation and commodification of femininity and the pressure placed upon femininity to ascribe to heteronormative and cisnormative ideals. My Lady of Mercy, Caesar on a TV screen, and Beautiful Boy, the songs on the record that are the most outwardly queer. Hold up, I gotta eat a snack real fast. Sinner and My Lady of Mercy are two songs about the guilt of one's sapphic swag, and their desperation to express it and go back to a time before it was against the rules. I wish I knew you, back when we were both small. I wish I knew you, but I have gotten too tall. I wish I knew you, and touch was innocent. I wish I knew you, before it felt like a sin. These songs exhibit a lot of the same longing that is displayed on the desperate love songs here, but they have a totally, completely different vibe to them. The vibe isn't catastrophic, it's euphoric in a sense. And this vibe is definitely heard in Abigail Morris's vocal performance. She sings these lyrics as such a mournful desire for a love that was lost before it could be fully realized, that was deemed sinful before she could understand how it felt. She's not pleading with another person here. She is yearning to go back to a time before Catholicism told her that her love was no good. Now allow me to compound that thought as I talk about My Lady of Mercy and Portrait of a Dead Girl. My Lady of Mercy is about being a girl. A girl looking up at a painting of Joan of Arc for the first time and thinking that she looks so brave and so beautiful that she wants to kiss her. And maybe she also wants to kiss the girl who stands next to her in the school choir. The band said that. The band said this is exactly what My Lady of Mercy is about. Like, without a doubt. Also, side note, the track that is immediately after My Lady of Mercy is Portrait of a Dead Girl, which is interesting. My Lady of Mercy is a song all about wanting to reach through a portrait of a dead girl so that you may kiss the gorgeous babe found inside, that leads into a song called Portrait of a Dead Girl? That's kind of bizarre. Like, perhaps it foreshadows the death of your own queerness, as foreshadowed in Sinner? Don't have the strength to pin you down. The time I wasted in your mouth, waves that crash against your chest. Over and over again, I kissed your eyes and framed your teeth as you crawl back to the sea. If anyone could kill me, and I never ever let it be you. These are the words of a girl who was never in love with that nasty, rotten man. Her heart still yearns for Joan of Arc, like all women's do, but she is pushed away from that love due to society, and Catholicism, and like Christianity, and like Jesus. My Lady of Mercy, like Sinner, is performed with a certain level of euphoria, as if Abigail is trying to convey through her voice how a girl must feel looking upon Joan of Arc, with these light, wistful verses that lead into these big, explosive, euphoric choruses. We don't get that on Nothing Matters. We don't get that on Burn Me Alive. We don't hear that on Your Side. But we hear that right here, in these damn songs. And now we arrive at Caesar on the TV Screen and Beautiful Boy, which are two songs that touch upon gender envy. The envy that the feminine must feel looking upon the power that masculinity covets and the safety that comes with it. Caesar on a TV Screen touches upon a girl's selfish and cis desire to become the all-powerful emperor of Rome. Because if she was Julius Caesar, she would no longer be in the shadow of masculinity and have autonomy over her own fate. And just for a second, I can be one of the greats. I'll be Caesar on a TV screen, champion of my fate, and no one will tell me to stop. I'll have everything I want. Anyone and everyone will like me then. Everyone will like me then. But ultimately, this desire is still just as self-destructive, as she is still sacrificing herself for masculinity. She is still sacrificing herself for a man, for Julius Caesar. But Tell me this. What happens to Julius Caesar? Yeah, dead. Gone. In the ground, 6 feet under. A2 Bruto? Yeah, those were her last words before she frickin' just died. Now Beautiful Boy, which is a song about the envy that a girl feels as she looks upon a man's ability to navigate the world safely as a beautiful boy, and how she wants to become a beautiful boy. Beautiful Boy and Caesar on the TV screen are both about the jealousy that one feels looking upon a man's privilege and undeserved applause just because of their gender. They're also a bit transgender, but I don't feel like talking about that right now. But yeah, that's all my gay thoughts about this record. It's really phenomenal. You should listen to it.